It is my pleasure to welcome back a very famous Canadian activist, Michelle Rainey. She's been involved in medical cannabis for quite some time, quite an advocate for it. And Michelle, why don't you tell the audience why it is that you utilize medical marijuana?
I have Crohn's disease, and marijuana saved my life. I'll start from the beginning, a real quick background of it. I was diagnosed when I was 16 years old, and that was back in about 1986, just before high school graduation. Very difficult time. There was no known cause, no known cure for Crohn's disease, and we didn't have the World Wide Web as we do now for information and resources. I succumbed to 2 surgeries, very painful surgeries, also a multitude of pharmaceuticals that overtook my body. And I was deteriorating at a rapid rate, but at the same time I was still trying to maintain a career in banking. Then a dear friend of mine suggested to me when I was 22 years old to try some marijuana. Now, during high school, I had not participated that often with cannabis. I was a type A personality and worked every single day after school. My mother was a single parent raising me as my father had passed away when I was young. So it was important to me to contribute to my mother and my family, but at the same time, I was very honored to have like I said, a dear friend suggest maybe some cannabis would alleviate some of the symptoms I was having with Crohn's. The nausea was terrible, and so was the pain. And taking Ativan, lorazepam, Tylenol 3, Demerol, morphine, just wasn't giving Michelle Rainey the ability to function every day.
And didn't that kind of a chemistry set, a combination, have a lot of side effects that were overwhelming?
Overwhelming to the point where I lost 2 days, had no memory of what happened for 2 days. That terrified me, and it was at that moment I realized I cannot be taking these ever again.
And when you smoked marijuana, was there an immediate change in your feeling and ability to deal with Crohn's disease, or was it a slow process?
It alleviated my nausea immediately. I was able to eat, and I didn't find myself having the terrible cramping that comes with having Crohn's disease. I have chronic diarrhea, and I will have that for the rest of my life. And I have no problem with that, trust me. I carry my Huggies baby wipes wherever I go. I love the fact that apparently in Europe and Japan there are bidets everywhere. I'll have to write a book someday on all the potty stories. I know where all the clean toilets are all over Canada. It's a situation, Crohn's disease, you have to look at it with humor. You really do, because what goes into your body wants to come out very quickly. And it's almost like, how could I compare it? I met a bunch of physicists who told me we can digest small particles of glass, but apparently digesting nails is even more painful. So I use that as an example. Picture yourself eating a bunch of nails, having it go through your system. It chops everything up. Marijuana has enabled me to be Michelle Rainey again, to be outgoing, to be the person I've always been. That's the workaholic as well as the compassionate caregiver, and at the same time, I can function. I don't feel like I need to pass out and fall asleep. I don't feel like I'm going to lose a day. I don't feel delirious.
Michelle, I can't express how wonderful it's been to see you again. Thank you for taking time for Hemp.
Casper, it is an honor and a pleasure to be on your show. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and thank you very much.